Welcome to the World Poetry Cafe. This is the family tent. My name is Roger Stevens. I live in England, in Brighton. I visit lots of schools, talk to lots of teachers, talk to lots of children, and we often discuss whether poems have to rhyme or not. Do poems have to rhyme? Now, some poems like Limericks, Sonnets, they do have to rhyme. There's no two ways about it. But do poems have to rhyme? Well, I thought I would write a poem that didn't rhyme. I will sit down, I thought I'll sit down, I will actually write a poem that doesn't rhyme. So this is it, this is my poem that doesn't rhyme. It's called Who Says a Poem Always Has to Rhyme? And it goes like this. There was a young man called Frank who kept his pocket money in the post office. When he'd saved enough, he bought an electric viola and celebrated with a can of coconut cordial. When he plays the viola, the whole house rocks. It makes your shoes dance and it frightens your granny. Frank plays his viola all of the time. Who says a poem always has to have the same sound at the end of the line as it had at the end of the line before? One of my favourite films is Star Wars. I don't know if you like Star Wars. This is about one of the robots in the film. It's called Not Much to Look At. My name is R2-D2. I'm not much to look at, for sure. I don't have the figure of a 6P07, nor the face of a ZK04. I don't have the elegance of a CP30, and my manners aren't neat and precise. I can't speak every language under the sun, but I have saved the galaxy twice. And this is called The Monster That Ate the Universe. And I'd like you to join in the last line of every verse. So I will say, what's my name? And you have to say, the monster that ate the universe. Say it nice and loudly. If you're on your own, shout it out. If you're with your family, with friends, the monster that ate the universe. Okay? So I'm going to say, what's my name? The monster that ate the universe. So let's have a little practice. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. Very good, very good. Here we go. I began with a pancake, but why stop there? So I ate the spoon and the table and chair. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. I ate all the cutlery. I ate the cheese grater, the cooker, the microwave, the refrigerator. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. I wolfed down the kitchen, the dining room too. I slurped up the bathroom, including the loo. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. I chewed up the house. I gulped it all down. I ate the whole street. I devoured the town. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. I swallowed the country. Then what do you think? I drank all the ocean. I needed a drink. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. Then the earth I consumed, the planets, the sun. I was still feeling peckish and having such fun. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. So I gorged on the galaxy next door. I was still feeling hungry, so I gobbled up more. What's my name? The monster that ate the universe. I dined on them all, as the prophets all feared. Then I swallowed myself and disappeared. In the silence that followed, a little bird sang, then nothing, just silence and a very big bang! There we are. So, a couple of football poems. I don't know if you like football. I follow Liverpool Football Club. We were going to win the Premiership this year. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we are now with the virus, with the coronavirus and everything. Everything's sort of come to a standstill. It's all very strange, isn't it? So I'm a bit upset about that. But then, there are more important things to be upset about, aren't there, right now? But this is called The Winning Goal. When I scored the winning goal, I'd never felt so alone. The crowd went crazy on their feet, but my heart sank like a stone. They say that scoring is marvellous, the best feeling that's ever been known. But when you make a mistake, it's hard to take, and the back of the net is your own. We had a dog called Judy, and if we took Judy for a walk in the park or in a recreation ground and she saw anybody playing with a ball, she would chase the ball. So people would be playing football, she would chase the ball, they get a bit cross, what's this dog doing here? And then she would burst the ball. And then we would be running away from the angry footballers. We used to play football when I was a child in the street. There were very few cars around when I was small. Anybody could join in. So this is called Today We Beat Brazil. And it goes like this. Today we beat Brazil 10-0, 10-0, 10-0. Today we beat Brazil 10-0 and our striker is a dog. The game with Poland was called off and we were winning 7-3. The game with Poland was called off because our striker burst the ball. Tomorrow we play Italy, Italy, Italy. Tomorrow we play Italy if we can find a ball. We're going to win the World Cup, World Cup, World Cup. We're going to win the World Cup. All we need's a ball. Judy's no longer with us. This was a few years ago. Our dog now is called Jasper. Jasper is a small dog. We rescued him actually from the south of France and he's very timid. He's a Welsh Terrier. The thing about Jasper is what he likes to do, it's not burst balls. He likes to collect things, anything that he finds lying around the house. So, pair of socks, oh, I'll have that please, pencils, pens, tissues, anything that he finds, he takes them back to his lair, back to his basket, or hides them under the bed sometimes. So we're always missing things. So this is a poem called Secret, and this is the way that Jasper tells it. Secret. You can bribe me with treats and biscuits and meats, but I'm not telling you where I buried it. You can yell, you can shout, you can stomp all about, but I'm not telling you where I buried it. You can stroke me and tickle me under my chin. You can say, just you wait till your mummy gets in. You can offer me caviar straight out the tin, but I'm not telling you where I buried it. It's my favourite toy. It's what gets my vote. I just love to chew it. It's what floats my boat. I don't know what it's for, but it's called a remote. And I'm not telling you where I buried it. I'm going to read you one or two animal poems this is from one of my books, Penguin in Lost Property. The first poem is called Unlikely Pets. I have a pet dragon. His name is Di, but no one ever sees him because he's very, very shy. I have a pet iguana. His name is Stu. I don't suppose you'll ever meet him because he lives in Peru. I have a pet spider. His name is Fred. You can see him if you like, but he's a little bit dead. This poem is about a panda. Now, you probably know that pandas eat lots and lots of bamboo. They eat between 12 and 38 kilos of bamboo every day. It's a lot of bamboo. Now and again they might eat, there's a small rabbit that lives where pandas live called a pika. And sometimes if they get a bit fed up with bamboo, they might eat this small rabbit-like creature. That's something I didn't know. This is called panda. Good morning, panda. How are you? I see you're munching on bamboo. But for a change, why not try stew? Some lettuce leaves, a nut or two. Fine dine on pike or caribou. On fancy plates as cordon bleu. For variety, a cheese fondue with Wensleydale or Danish blue. But all you do is chew bamboo. It's such a boring thing to do. Although I've heard, if you can grab it, you're rather partial to a rabbit. One more poem. We were talking earlier about sonnets. Now, a sonnet is a poem that is 14 lines long, and it has a very particular rhyming scheme. This is called a Shakespearean sonnet, and it has a very particular rhyming scheme that you sort of have to follow. You can look this up if you want to know more about sonnets. And each line of a sonnet has a certain beat. It goes da-dum, 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 da-dum. So it has that sort of da-dum, 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 da-dum. And that's a sonnet. And this one, I wrote this one in Canada. So it's all the way from Canada. They have a lot of bears in Canada, especially in the north. I wrote this at a place called Red Lake, which is as far north as you can go before the roads just run out altogether. And we saw a few bears there. And I saw a thing in one of their local newspapers about a bear who'd attacked some people in a lay-by who'd been feeding the bear. They'd run out of food and the bear didn't think much of it. So this is called Don't Feed the Bears. Look at them. They ventured from the city, and you're a friendly bear who stopped to dine on M&Ms, a photo opportunity. They wonder why the sign says, bears beware. Could it be your size? 500 pounds of power? And to survive, you need to eat. You open screw-top tins. You scour the tip, but pickings there are slim. You stroll down Main Street. Flick the door latch of a house. You wander through and grab what takes your fancy. Back on the road, they are parked up in the lay-by. So you do your little dance, you like to work the crowd, but you remind them who's the boss, and when the M&Ms run out, you can get cross. So, I was writing my third book of poems. This was a few years ago now. And it was called Why Otters Don't Wear Socks. The book was called that. And it was my third book of poems. And it was being published by Macmillan. Macmillan is a big, big international company. They published this book, Macmillan. And they publish hundreds of thousands of books. So what happens is, if you're a writer or an author, you work with somebody called an editor. And the editor is the person that helps you, sort of your personal contact with the publishers. And the editor helps you put the book together. If it's a book of poems, he or she will help you choose the poems, sort out who's going to illustrate the book, who's going to illustrate the poems inside the book. My editor for that book was called Gabby Morgan. So I'd got about, a third of the way through the book, and I ran out of poems. So I said to Gabby, look, I'm really sorry about this. I don't seem to have enough poems. And Gabby said a fantastic thing. She said, don't worry, why don't you write one big, long poem? So instead of having to think of lots of little poems, write a big, long poem. And I thought, that's a brilliant idea, isn't it? So I don't know if you have this poem in your country, but in England we have a poem called 10 Green Bottles. Now I know there's a version in America, in other countries. You probably, if you're not from England, you've probably got a version of your own. But it goes like this. It's 10 green bottles. So 10 green bottles sitting on the wall. 10 green bottles sitting on the wall. And if one green bottle should accidentally fall, there'd be 9 green bottles. And then it goes 9, and it carries on right down to no green bottles sitting on the wall. Okay, got it? So, I needed a big long poem, and I came up with this one. It's called A Million Little Dinosaurs, okay? So, it's A Million Little Dinosaurs. Just checking the time. What have we got here? Here we go, anyway. Good luck. A million little dinosaurs having a good time. One fell over a cliff, and then there were 999,999. 999,999 dinosaurs having lots of fun. An asteroid hit the Earth, and then there were none. So it didn't come out quite as long as I thought. Okay. I visit lots of schools, as I said, and a question I'm often asked is, how long does it take to write a poem? Well, I've written a poem about how long it takes to write a poem. It's called How Long Does It Take to Write a Poem? Funnily enough. Goes like this. I'm not yet sure. Let me check the time. It's 7 minutes to 10 and 32 seconds. It's Sunday morning, and I'm peering out the window, and the cars are rushing along Vauxhall Bridge Road, and I'm wondering what to write next. 2 minutes 35 seconds so far. Of course, there will be a redrafting, maybe 2, and there's the possibility that this may never be a poem. Just a few scribbled lines in my notebook, and when the notebook is full, it will sit on the old notebook shelf with all the other old notebooks, waiting for a day that will never come, when Indiana Jones finds the room's hidden entrance in the rubble and the rocks, blows the dust from the book's cover, opens it and begins to read. How long does it take to write a poem? 8 minutes, 23 seconds. Now, I'm often asked for secrets, for tips for writing poems. I don't know if you like writing poems, maybe that's what you should do next. When you've watched this, have a go at writing a poem. What you need, my number one tip, my number one piece of advice is, what you need is a notebook. This is my notebook. I take my notebook everywhere I go because you never know when you're going to hear something, see something that might become a story or a poem. You need a notebook. And it's not, look, it's very untidy. You can see it's sort of all over the place. It's just for jotting ideas down. It doesn't have to be neat. Look, you can see this is, it's quite untidy. You don't have to worry about spelling. It's just to get your ideas down. Nobody else ever sees this. And you just write down ideas as they come to you. So, for example, Jill, my wife, said, "Oh, it's raining out, you better take an umbrella." I immediately thought of that Rihanna song. So I've just jotted this down. It's raining. I'd better grab an umbrella. Umbrella, Ella, 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 umbrella, Ella, Ella. And my coat, 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 coat. And my Wellington boots, 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 Ella, Ella, coat, coat. Anyway, rubbish, right? But, doesn't matter, it's in my notebook. And every now and then, I write something and I go back and I look at my notebook and I think, oh, yeah, that's a good idea that. I could develop that into a poem. I take my notebook to bed with me. I do. I say, let's have an early night. Let's go to bed nice and early, shall we? With a cup of hot milk. That would be rather lovely. So I take my notebook to bed. You never know, do you? Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a really good idea? And you wake up and you think, oh, wow, fantastic. It's a great idea for a story or a poem, or it's a brilliant idea for the football team tomorrow, or for the cricket team, or, it's just a fantastic idea. But then you go back to sleep, you wake up in the morning and it's gone. You've forgotten it. Does that happen to you? You wake up, oh, what was it? It was something, can't remember what it was. So I've got my notebook, sits by my bed, wake up in the middle of the night, had a great idea, turn on the light, and write it in my notebook. You've got to be a little bit careful. I sleep with Jill, my wife. Now, Jill and I met in the circus. She was a sort of a tumbler and a gymnast and an acrobat. She used to do all those tumbling gymnastic things. She was fantastic. And she's retired now. That was quite a long time ago. But I woke up in the middle of the night, had this idea, turned on the light, got my notebook. Jill is sleeping there beside me peacefully. Like that, right? I turned on the light. She woke up. Like that. Then she grabbed me like this, lifted me up over her head like that. I'm going, oh, put me down, put me down. And then she went, like that. And I went flying across the room, out of the window, landed upside down in the goldfish pond. I may say that goldfish have very short memories, but that's not true. I would walk past that pond for weeks afterwards, and the goldfish would be in the pond and they'd still be talking about it. Do you remember when that poet fell out of the sky? Fell out of the sky. Oh, I do, I know. It's just nibbling on a lovely bit of weed, out of the sky. Yeah, I know, bruised me fin. Yeah, so, got to be a little bit careful. I mentioned at the very beginning the limerick. The limerick is a poem that has to rhyme. And it has 5 lines. You probably know limericks. And it has a rhythm. It goes da 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 dum da diddly dum diddly daddly da da. And the first 2 lines and the last line rhyme, and lines 3 and 4 rhyme. And it usually starts, there was a young man from, and it's usually, limericks are usually meant to be funny. And this is about somebody called Aesop. and it's called Fable. At writing, Aesop was tip-top, but his limericks, alas, weren't much cop. His first lines were fine, and his rhymes were divine, but he just didn't know when to stop, and always wrote a little moral on the end. This limerick I thought of on the train. I had my notebook. I wrote it in my notebook. I was on my way to a school, and the idea for it just came to me. I don't know where it came from, just arrived, jotted it down in my notebook. And it's about a young man from Hamamatsu. So if there's anybody watching who is Japanese or speaks Japanese, I do apologise if my pronunciation in this poem isn't great. It's called Martial Arts Limerick. There was a young man from Hamamatsu who was very good at jiu-jitsu. He fell on his face and so, in disgrace, had to move to Yamagawa Hamachiyo Gaitsu. I thought it was quite funny having a very, very, very long name that sort of messed up the limerick form a little bit. But that got me to thinking about what was the longest place name in the world. So I Googled it, looked on my phone, and I discovered there's a place in New Zealand that has the longest name for any place in the world. And I thought, well, I could do a similar thing here with a long place name. So I wrote this again in my notebook. Now, when I got to the school, I thought I will read this to the class because I'd just written it and I was talking about notebooks. And so to explain about how you write things in your notebook, I read it to the class, and the teacher of that class came from New Zealand. And she'd been to the place. She lived actually quite near the place. So there was a coincidence. So it's called Take Me Home, and it's a little song. I've written it as a song. It goes like this. Take me home to where the mountains of New Zealand meet the sparkling sea so blue. To see my mum and dad again, it's where I'd like to be. I've had enough of travelling, it's time to go home too. Tomatoa katangi hanga koa u au o tamate atu rip u kaka iki mongcha horon uku poke wenu akitana tahu. Ta-da! Thank you very much. So we've nearly come to the end now. I hope you've enjoyed my poems. I've enjoyed reading them. I always love reading my poems to people. So I hope you've had a good time. Just down below somewhere there is a collection hat, a little hat. You can donate some money to me if you'd like. I'd be very pleased if you did that. So thank you very much. Donate me a little bit of money for my performance. If you write poems yourself, and you're under 18, you can send your poems to my website. There are details of that in my little biography. And all the poems that you send me, I will edit just as though you were sending them to be in a proper published book. So I will be the editor, and I will edit your poems and make them look as good as possible. So send me your poems. These are difficult times, aren't they, that we're living in right now. Very weird, very, very strange. So just keep yourself safe. Look out for others. We're all in this together. We have to help one another, don't we? So that's about it from me. This is the last poem, and it's from a book that I wrote with Liz Brownlee and Matt Goodfellow, and it's a book about sustainability. So all the poems are about the planet and things we're doing to the planet. But it's a positive book. There are lots of ideas that just small things that you can do to help save the planet. So this is one of my poems from that. It's called Captain Save the Planet. I am Captain Save the Planet. I am green. Not green like the Green Lantern. Not green like the Incredible Hulk. No, I am green like the forests, like grass, like ferns, and the green, clean air that blew across the planet long ago. I am Captain Save the Planet. I am strong, not strong like my arch enemy, radioactive man, who burns the sky with invisible rays. Not like coal power man, who spews out deadly fumes. No, I am strong like the wind, turning 1,000,000 wind turbines. I am strong like the sun, heating 1,000,000 homes. I am Captain Save the Planet, and I am looking for an assistant. Would you care to apply? Okay, that's it from me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.